Hello everyone, myself Bautik Trivedi, working as an assistant professor in IT/ICT department of LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. I will explain you the concept of ATM cell structure in unit of ATM in Advanced Networking Protocol subject. So in the last unit already you know whatever the data transmitted in a form of the cells in a ATM. So here in today's session mainly focus on the cell structure of the ATM. So let's start with the concept of the ATM cell structure in detail. So let's start with this. So first of all, whenever you talk about the ATM cell structure, so must remember one thing. ATM cell structure supported how many bytes? So ATM cell that supported the 53 bytes, but out of the 53 bytes that is divided into two parts. One that is known as a header, second one that is known as a payload. Out of the 53 bytes, 5 bytes belongs to header and 48 bytes belongs to payload. Again I repeat, must remember this, 53 bytes that total cell structure. Out of the 53 bytes, 5 bytes belongs to header, 48 bytes belongs to payload. So here in this 5 bytes that supported the header, 48 bytes that supported the payload. In header, that's the combination of the concept of the VPI and VCI. Already you know in a first session. What is the full form of VPI? That is the virtual path identifier. And what is the full form of VCI? Virtual circuit identifier. So let's start with this. Here you just see 53 bytes, that's the cell structure, 5 bytes reserved for the header, and remaining 48 bytes that supported the user data, and user data in terms of the payload here. So after that, then after one concept, BISDN reference model. What is the full form of BISDN? BISDN means broadband integrated service digital network. So BISDN reference model supported. So here you just see first of all ATM architecture, because here you talk about the ATM cell structure. So in ATM cell structure, at least you know the ATM architecture in a proper way. So ATM architecture that is directly based on a BISDN reference model. So ATM architecture supported how many layers? So that supported the 3 layers. You already know the concept of the OSI model. OSI model supported the 7 layers that start from the physical up to the application. But here ATM architecture that supported the 3 layers. One that is the physical layer, second one that is the ATM layer, and third one that is the ATM adoption layer. First layer means physical layer. So physical layer directly correspond to physical layer of the OSI model. But whenever you talk about the ATM layer and ATM adoption layer, that directly correspond to data link layer of the OSI model. Again I repeat the statement, must remember this thing. First layer correspond to physical layer of the OSI model, and ATM layer and ATM adoption layer that correspond to data link layer of the OSI model. So that's the normal introduction of the BISDN reference model. So all of you just see the diagram. That's the diagram for the BISDN reference model. So first of all, I directly explain this particular diagram, and then after explain each and every term of this particular diagram in a proper way. So here you just see OSI reference model. So whenever you talk about the concept of the OSI reference model, so the topmost layer, that is the application, then after the presentation, then after the session, then after the transport, then after the network, then after the data link, and then after the physical. Bottom layer, that's the physical layer. Topmost layer, that's the application layer. Here you just see one new diagram. That's the BISDN reference model. So here you just see physical layer, physical layer. But whenever you talk about the data link layer of the OSI model, so it directly corresponds to ATM layer and ATM adoption layer of the BISDN reference model. And from the network layer to application layer, that can be considered as a higher layers in this particular figure. Again I repeat this is the most important diagram. Physical layer to physical layer mapping, data link layer to ATM and ATM adaptation layer mapping, and from the network to application that can be considered as a higher layers. After that, mainly two kinds of management here. One that is known as a layer management, second one that is known as a plane management. How many type of plane in this plane management? So there are mainly three types of plane. One that is known as a user plane, second one that is known as a control plane, and third one that is known as a management plane. So in this particular diagram, if you consider the most important component of this particular diagram, so first of all, at least you know the OSI model. Second one, you know the three layers of the ATM architecture. Then after, you know the concept of the layer management. Then after, you know the concept of the plane management. And whenever you talk about the plane management, that is divided into three types. Again I repeat the name: user plane, control plane, and management plane. So that's all about the diagram of the BISDN reference model. So let's start with this. Talk about the different plane in a detailed manner. So user plane, why we require the user plane in a BISDN reference model? User plane is generally deal with first one that supported the data transfer, that supported the flow control, and that supported the error recovery. Each and everything you know in a data communication and networking subject. What is the meaning of flow control? What is the meaning of error control? What is the meaning of data transfer? So user plane directly support data transfer, flow control, and error recovery. Already you know the concept of the error detection and correction in a data communication networking subject. So with using the CRC and checksum and all, with using this you can directly solve the error correction as well as the error detection. Second plane, that is the control plane. Control plane directly supported the creation and management of the signaling connection. So with using this you can directly initiate any virtual connection. With using this you can directly apply the different kind of addressing. With using this you can directly apply the routing operation. Each and everything that is the under the category of the control plane. Third plane, that is the management plane. So that consists of the layer and plane management. So why we use the layer? Layer is generally used for the failure identification. And why we use the plane? That directly supported the different function that is associated with entire plane. So again, must remember the name of the plane: user plane, control plane, and management plane. After that, then after, in ATM architecture, all of you know mainly three layers. First one, that is the physical layer. Second one, that is the ATM layer. And third one, that is the ATM adaptation layer. So in this particular point, what do you mean by physical layer in ATM architecture? So here you just see physical layer. What's the functionality behind that? The functionality is that it directly applies the transmission of the ATM cells over a physical medium between the two devices. Because all of you know, whenever you providing any connection between the two devices, you can directly transmit the data through the physical medium. So it directly transmits the ATM cells over a physical medium between the two devices. So this particular physical layer is divided into two sub-layers. One that is known as a PMD, and second one that is known as a TC. What is the full form of PMD? Physical medium dependent. Again I repeat the name: physical medium dependent. TC means what? Transmission convergence. So what's the functionality behind the PMD? So PMD is generally used for sending and receiving the continuous stream of bits with related timing information. Means at that time it directly passes the information plus the timing information is there. And TC, that supported the three technique: transmission convergence sublayer, that supported the HEC. What is the meaning of HEC? That is the header error checksum. So you can directly generating the error, you can directly verifying the error, each and everything that is the part of the TC. Then after the two important point, one that is the cell delineation and second one cell rate decoupling. So these two, that is the most important functionality of the transmission convergence. After that, this is the most important point. This particular question asked in a examination every time. ATM cell header format. Again I repeat, must remember one thing, cell structure. So whenever you talk about the cell structure, that supported the 53 bytes. Out of the 53 bytes, 5 bytes belongs to header, 48 bytes belongs to payload. So this particular diagram, that's the arrangement of the 5 byte. Means this is the format. ATM cell header format. Means here I can directly set the 5 bytes with using the different component. So let's start with the first one. GFC. What is the meaning of GFC? Generic flow control. VPI, virtual path identifier. VCI, virtual circuit identifier. PT, payload type. CLP, cell loss priority. HEC, header error control or header error checksum. So here you just see, this is the component of the ATM cell header format. If you want to establish the connection between the UNI and NNI, so ATM cell header format for the UNI, that's the different one, and ATM cell header format for the NNI, that's the different one. The main difference is that in UNI the existence of the GFC is there, but in case of NNI, there are no existence of the GFC. That is the difference. And that's the most important difference. So here you just see this diagram, GFC, then after the VPI, then after the VCI, then after the payload type, then after the cell loss priority and HEC. So here you just see, let's start with this. First of all, the component. Again I repeat, ATM cell consists of 5 bytes of header and 48 bytes of payload. So first one, generic flow control. Why we use the GFC? So flow control at UNI level. So must remember one thing, at UNI level, GFC field is currently undefined and set to 0. Means in GFC you can directly set the 0 for the GFC. In NNI, no existence of the GFC. In place of the GFC, you can directly set the 4 bits are allocated to VPI field. That is the difference between the two diagrams. Again I repeat, in UNI, GFC is directly set to 0. In NNI, you can directly allocate VPI in place of GFC. After that, VPI means virtual path identifier. So if you want to directly set the 8 bits, so total number of possibility 2 raised to 8, and 2 raised to 8 means 256 possibilities. For the VCI 16 bits, so you can directly apply the 2 raised to 16. So 2 raised to 16 means 65536 possibilities. After that, this is the most important point. These two, that's the most important one. Here you just see payload type. Payload type contain how many bits? Payload type contain only 3 bits. Payload type contain only 3 bits. Out of the 3 bit, first bit, second bit and third bit. So first bit, it directly identify the type of the payload that carry the user data or control data. Second bit, that I directly identify the congestion identifier. And third bit, that directly identify the cell is the last cell of the stream or not. Again I repeat this, first bit that directly identify the types of the data, types of the payload, either that is the user data or control data. Second bit that directly supported the congestion identifier, and third bit that directly identify the cell is the last cell of the stream or not. After that, CLP. CLP means cell loss priority. That supported only one bit, means either 0 or 1. For example, if you put CLP bit as a 0, so that can be considering as a high priority here, means you cannot discard any ATM cells. But if you put CLP bit as a 1, so that can be considering as a low priority. So this particular cell will be discarded when the network congestion is there. And the most important thing is that, means if you put 0, you cannot discard any ATM cell. If you put 1, you can apply the discard cell in a particular ATM cell. And the last one that already you know, HEC, that is generally 8 bits, that is used for the error correction as well as the error detection. So this is regarding the concept of the ATM cell header format. Again, ATM cell header format for UNI. UNI means this particular diagram. Again, I repeat, in UNI, GFC is there, means at that time in generic flow control, you directly put the 0 value. But in case of the NNI, in place of the GFC, you can directly set the VPI. So that is the most important thing. So in today's session, the most important thing, that is the ATM cell structure. Then after the talk about the concept of the ATM cell header format. And then after the talk about the BISDN reference model. So again I repeat, in today's session, first one, that is the cell structure. Second one, that is the BISDN reference model, and third one, that is the ATM cell header format for UNI as well as the NNI. So that's all about the today's session. Thank you for watching.